Do you really want to be a millionaire? Sure, it sounds great, but what does it actually look like? And more importantly, how do you get there?
Yeah. So when you think about being a millionaire, it's more than just a number to us. It's a lifestyle. It helps create freedom. It helps to kind of create that legacy that you desire. And so today we're going to break it down to what being a millionaire looks like and then how you can start to implement the right systems in your salon so that you can start to shape this reality for yourself.
Yes. And so I love that you talked about Jen, that it really talks that, it really touches on the lifestyle, the freedom, the legacy. I think those are some of the most important things. I think it's a dream of just any American in general, not necessarily just salon owners or people inside of our industry. But I think everybody has that dream to be a millionaire. And so today we're going to uncover, what does that really look like? And so for some, for me, what it would look like is having that freedom of choice where, you might be sitting on the beach sipping pina colada one afternoon while taking phone calls, shortly thereafter. It's just fluidly moving through the moments of what you can really serve the world to its highest good. And I think that there's both perks and there's some responsibilities to having a lifestyle like this. I think, we all think about all of the perks and all of the wonderful things that come along with more freedom of choice when, we think about that millionaire lifestyle. But I think there's also that, the other side of that coin, which is those responsibilities and just the service that you get to provide to the world in order to maintain sitting in that position.
Yeah. And sometimes I think it's always a beautiful spot to come from too, is just to do some internal searching of some almost like visualization, manifestation of like, hey, I'm closing my eyes. What would it look like to really truly become a millionaire? Because I think there is power in the pause
Mhm.
sometime of starting to create what that would look like for you, even if it's not going to be tomorrow, even if it's not going to be the next year, or maybe it's not even till 5 years. I think it helps to start to shape your reality because sometimes we're so conditioned to believe, oh, that's not possible for me, or that doesn't even sound like it could ever come true for me. And so to really start to shape your reality to let you know that, hey, this is what it could look like. This is what it would feel like. This is what I would touch. This is what I would see. Like using all those perceptions, I think just helps you get into the game of becoming, a millionaire.
Yes. And, I think what's the most important thing to that is just really that it's not just about the cash. And so, really visualizing, I love how you painted that picture, Jen. It's like, who do I need to become in order to, have this sort of a lifestyle? And so, let's talk
Mhm.
about step one. I think step one in this journey, the most important thing is getting your salon to that first $1 million revenue mark. So that first milestone along the path to becoming a millionaire is getting your salon to hit that $1 million mark. I think that that's like
Mhm.
a key thing that a lot of people strive for as salon owners inside of our industry is becoming a $1 million salon. And when we say that, a lot of people are referring to just the revenue that's coming in each year. So let's dive into what are some key strategies when it comes to getting your salon to that first $1 million mark.
Yeah. And so when you think about, okay, what systems do I need in place? Like,
Mhm.
I think you really have to optimize efficiency and create systems to really reach that $1 million because it's easy to get to maybe two or three, not easy, but it's possible to get to 2 or 3 million, especially if you're a busy producer behind the chair. But like once you get to 1 million, if you don't have those systems and processes in place, like your foundation can start to crumble. So some of those systems and processes that you want to make sure are really streamlined are like your guest experience, your sales process, your hiring process, your recruiting process. Like you want to have a system for that. And it's not that you can never elevate the system that you have, but you've got to have that process in place to be able to continue to scale and to continue to build from there.
I love that, Jen. And I think, an area that a lot of salon owners can get stuck in is, when you are a service provider that's behind the chair, that's like a hat that a lot of people wear inside of our industry. They're being a service provider and they're being a salon owner. And it's really hard to to really work on creating those amazing systems and scaling your services, scaling your business, scaling your team, doing all of that work. Also, while you're serving, the clients through servicing them each and every day, And so I think one of the key strategies is once you hit a certain point, and hey, this doesn't have to be the exact story for everybody. If you're like, nope, Jen and Lindsay, I absolutely love doing hair, or I love doing, skin care or lashes or whatever it might be, inside the beauty industry. You still can do both. It's just like, hey, then, surrounding yourself with that right management team once you get to that stage, I think is key in order to scale to really get to that millionaire status.
Yeah, and I remember back in the day when I first started, it all sounded good. Like, I just want $1 million salon. Did you ever say that one day? I just want $1 million salon. Just
Yes.
want $1 million salon. And I really didn't
Why?
understand the why, or it just sounded like a good number, right? And so,
Uh-huh.
like, one thing we'd probably add to that is get your salon to $1 million, but also a profitable, scalable salon. And that's really what's going
Mhm.
to help create that journey for you to have more freedom, more time. And so, getting to $1 million is great, but to make sure that you have that green bottom line. When I'm talking about that green bottom line, I'm talking about like that positive cash flow every single month and every year is going to help you continue to elevate. Because I've met business owners before. They're like, yeah, I do like $5-6 million a year. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's awesome. Like, what's your profitability? Like, oh, well, there's no profit. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting, because we have salons that are doing like 300,000 and 400,000, and they're making profit, and you're doing 6 million. And so I think just to become crystal clear about like, hey, let's hit that $1 million, and let's also make sure we have those systems in places so that there is some profit left over at the end of the day, and that you as a salon owner are taking home pay as well.
Yeah, I think that that's key. Also, just thinking about all of the jobs that can be in jeopardy at that, $5 and $6 million mark with no profitability. All it takes is, one hiccup that you don't see coming, to really put you in a danger zone. And so I think, like you said, you can't stress that enough. It's that having that green bottom line is going to be key for the success of everybody in this venture. So it's bigger than just you. And so once you've gotten there, you've built that $1 million salon, you're, on your way to on this journey. I think step two is then building more assets. I think a lot of times people can get derailed in this journey and think, oh gosh, here we've hit it. We've got a little bit of profitability. A lot of people will upgrade their lifestyle. I'm not saying one way is right or wrong, but I think it's just a good thing to think about, like, how can we multiply our success? So like, maybe it's time to look at opening a second location if you truly have those systems in place and you're experiencing that growth, and you've found, you've sourced a new location that you could really open and get it to be a profitable spot. Then I think that that's one way to start looking at building more assets.
Yeah, and you're thinking, well, what is an asset? And so an asset is going to produce more income for you. So your business is an asset because hopefully it's producing income for you. And so, an opportunity would be to take the money that you're producing from one asset and purchase more assets. So like this exact same thing occurred for me. Like we were in a small 1,000 square foot building. For those that know, my grandmother started the salon. So my grandfather had built her this little building, and then we just outgrew that space. And so that was a huge opportunity to take some of the profits and that we had made from when we had been in business all those years to actually create real estate, actually a small strip mall. And so then we're able to own that property and create additional passive income, with the salon being one of the tenants in that property. So I think it's just really cool when you think about like, what game are you playing? Like, how big is the game that you're playing? Like, I always think, wow, like where I'm at now, like I won't even be bigger than that later, just because I know after growth comes contribution. And when I'm able to make a bigger contribution in the world because I am a millionaire, like that just gives me so much more power. And so I love the idea of using your business as an asset to create other assets on top of that.
Yes. And, it's just excites, I'm going to speak for both of us on this, Jen. It just excites us to think about, all of the amazing salon and spa owners that we get the opportunity to work with, making that bigger contribution in the world, and just the ripple effect that it can have. Because, to be in power It doesn't mean that you're a good or a bad person. And thankfully, we get to work with some of the most beautiful souls on earth, inside of Salon Business School and the PhD program. And if you're listening, you're obviously a beautiful soul too. So we appreciate you tuning in. And just to think about the ripple effect that that can have in the world, I think is just incredible and it's inspiring. And so, sometimes people grow up and they have a story around money, that money is the root of all evil, or, money, more money, more problems, whatever the story is that people have created around money. We believe money is just a tool to stay in exchange. And, when you're bringing more of it in, it allows you to contribute more to the world, whether that's in contributing better employment, whether that's contributing, giving back in any way that you see fit. Money is not a bad thing. And, when the right person has more money, it's incredible the things that can happen inside of the world. And so, I think focusing on building those assets at that stage too is going to be key to getting you to that next stage for sure.
Yeah. Doesn't even have a rap song, Mo Money, Mo Problems. So like
Yes.
they're teaching the
Did you
world.
write it, Jen?
No, they're teaching the
Mo
world.
money,
Mo money,
problems.
mo problems. Yeah, that's probably showing our age a little bit. Awesome. All right. So when we think about like what is the next segment of that would be, we've gotten to $1 million, we've created more assets, and now like think about this. What would your life be like if you could actually take home $1 million a year? Like it goes back to what I was just saying earlier. Like for me, that would be a really huge opportunity. It's a really huge opportunity for me to make that bigger contribution. And so when you're able to actually take home $1 million a year, not just make, but take home $1 million a year, like it just to me gives you so much more possibilities and opportunities. And I think you do have to have the right network behind you to get there, the right financial planner. We're going to have a great one coming down the pipeline at our Salon Social coming up in October that we're super excited about. So if you'd like more information, just feel free to reach out at hello@thephdprogram.com. But like you've got to have those right people in place to help you, know how to manage the money, know how to make money work for you so that you don't have to work so hard for money at the end of the day.
Yes, and I think that team commitment at this stage is key. So really, okay, you've built the $1 million salon. You've now, reinvested in building more assets, and you're taking home over $1 million a year. Congratulations, you've made it. You're a millionaire. Woo! Hopefully, you're living out those dreams that you always knew were possible. But let's talk about the three key things, to get you there and to really help keep you there. I think number one in this is just building a committed team. So you want to make sure like that your team is the backbone of your success. So a committed, growth-focused team will propel your salon to new heights. And so you're going to want to make sure that everybody on the team is committed to that personal and professional growth. Like if you are surrounded by people who, are stuck in their mindset, they have a really fixed mindset, they have a need to be right and make other people wrong, and they have a need, to not contribute to the overall success of the world. We know in order for us all to really, to have six-figure stylists and six-figure service providers in general, having that commitment to growth is going to be key for everybody to contribute higher in the world.
Awesome. Another key component to getting you to there is going to be understanding your finances and sales, because you can't hit the $1 million mark without a firm grasp on your finances and sales. It'd be like just shoot money out of money gun and like, oh yeah, hope this works out. Like we're just here spraying money everywhere. And so like you've got to really be able to understand like the money that comes out, the money that goes in. And a lot of times we hear salon owners say like, I don't like the numbers part, but like honestly, that's a belief you have. And that numbers really can shape you a brighter future, because when you understand the numbers that your salon company is producing, that your assets are producing, it allows you to make more informed decisions. And so, decisions, decide comes from the root word to cut. And so when you're able to really, cut and create the life that you desire, cut things out of your life that are not serving you, it really creates a much more beautiful space for you and those that are connected to you as well.
Yeah, that just really helps you decide on a great future, and I think
Yeah.
money also, like your numbers inside of the salon are just telling a story about what's happening, and so having the sales, like teaching your team to sell, a lot of people have a story around selling, maybe they've had a bad experience at one point or another, but they carry the story with them that sales is bad. No, selling is serving. And one of the things that we really work on a lot inside of Salon Business School and the PhD program is reshaping people's realities around selling and how can you serve people to their highest good. We've got 30 days to unlock the number one skill that you have in your life, which is selling. And so really focusing so that your team knows, like, hey, we're here to serve people to their highest good, and selling is, that's how we see if we're staying in exchange with
Mhm.
people. So I think that that's definitely key to that number two with those finances and sales is understanding the power of selling.
Awesome. So we talked about, like, do you want to be a millionaire? That sounds like a game show. Was it a game show? I don't even know, but it sounds like a fun game show. Do you want to be a millionaire? So just thinking about like getting your salon to $1 million, creating those assets, and then actually taking home $1 million a year. And so, it's about team, it's about creating that synergy, it's about understanding your finances and sales. And you put that puzzle together, I think that's where you really helps you to create an incredible life that you never thought possible.
Yes, and if you're looking to add to your synergy, we think that there's a million ways that you can do that. It's surrounding yourself with the right team inside of your salon. It's having the right coaching company that you're working with. We would love to see if we would be a good fit for you. Making sure that you have amazing financial planners, amazing attorneys. Just your team is a really big thing. It's beyond just the people inside of your walls. It's creating synergy with the right people outside of it, and being surrounded by the energy that you wish to contribute into the world as well. And so if you ever want any more information, feel free to reach out. Or if you've taken away something great, feel free to share this podcast with somebody inside of the industry that you think would get some great knowledge from today as well.